Okay guys, so we've managed to put all of these injectors back in. Okay, and what I did to install them all is you put the injectors in and then you tighten up the clamps, which is right next to the injector. That's the clamp, and the injector is beside it there. And just be very careful that you put the injector in to the port straight up and down, okay, and be careful not to lose the washers. Once you've put all your injectors in and you've got them set down to the torque pressure, which is 43 Newton meters, then you install your fuel lines. And I recommend to install, even though the manual says to put the fuel feeds on first, I recommend to put your fuel return lines on first, because of the access to those bolts. They're very tricky to get to. And then once you've got all your fuel lines on, you just tighten them up sort of just a little bit more than finger tight, all your bolts, and then you use your primer pump here to prime the fuel up to the injector pump. Once you've got the fuel into the injector pump, then you can go about turning your motor over. So you start your motor, you turn the key and you're starting the motor, and you'll see fuel squirting out of these injectors. On this motor, these two injectors were the first to have fuel squirting out, and then these two. Then I stop the motor and tighten up all of these bolts, okay, and then start the motor again. It was still running a bit rough because I still had fuel leaking, so I had to go through, and once I turned the motor off and tighten up these bolts again. Then I started the motor and it was running reasonably well, but there was still a few fuel leaks, so you just tighten them up a little bit more until there's no fuel leaks. And every time you tighten it, you can wipe off the diesel so that you can see if there's further fuel leaks. And that's just so you don't put more pressure on these fittings than you actually need to. And that's removing and installing injectors after you wanting to have them sealed. You should notice the motor running slightly better with clean injectors because you've got better fuel burn, and also you should have a cleaner exhaust, so less smoke from your exhaust once you've got clean injectors. So thanks for watching. Cheers.